What's up, everybody, and welcome into the number one Group of Five college football show in the history of the universe. This is the Group of Five guys presented by FanDuel, and this is Inside Drill. Our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs, the voice that the mainstream sports media refuses to be. We need your help to do that. Hit the follow button on all the social platforms at Group of Five Guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Believe Network, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. Most importantly, share with your family and friends. On this episode of Inside Drill, Kent State head football coach Mark Carney joins the show. Well, Jeff, you want to talk about quick work, a quick turnaround. These guys go viral on social media 2-3 days ago. Couple tweets get sent, couple messages back and forth, and we have landed the whale, Jeff. We've got Kent State head coach Mark Carney joining the Group of Five guys today. Coach, thank you, sir, for coming on.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having me. That's 2026 for you right there. Something happens, at a softball game at 10 a.m. and then at noon we're connected to do a podcast the next Monday. So
love it.
So yeah, so walk us through. I mean, obviously it goes viral. Everybody loves it. And for those of you that haven't seen it, right, the Kent State's got a softball game, and it looks like a big moment in the game, and then all of a sudden there's 100 football players, full pads, jumping up and down behind home plate. So walk us through how that happened.
Yeah, well, first, I'm extremely passionate about supporting the people that support us. And, you come to any Kent State football game, and I'm rocking a wrestling shirt right now, but the wrestlers and the basketball teams, right, and our gymnastics squad and golf teams and, all the student athletes on campus have always supported us. And, we've done the wave at volleyball games and certainly been around for, men's and women's basketball and gymnastics event and all that. Friday was a little bit of a perfect storm. We had normal scheduled practice. We're a morning practice team, so early morning meetings and on the field from about 9 to 11. Well, I come in at 6:30 or whatever, and I got word from our DFO that the softball games had gotten moved up, trying to beat some weather. So I brought it up in the team meeting. Was like, hey boys, what do you think about right after practice, just full pads, head over for an inning of softball? And might be a little unique, have 100 guys in full gear walk in to support the team. I didn't direct them to do anything. I was on the field shaking recruits and parents' hands after practice, and I heard it for sure. And when I walked over, the energy in the place was awesome. So our guys are unbelievable. Our players, our staff, we got a great team and excited to support, the other teams here at Kent State.
Is that not the way it should be?
Without question.
I grew up, man.
Is that not the college experience that, I know ratings are up and money's up and all the things, but that's what college sports is about to me. And then I promise you on Tuesday night when Kent State football's playing, I promise you there's going to be 40, soccer and softball girls that are going to come to the game, and basketball and wrestlers. I'm sure you're probably trying to get some wrestlers to come out of the football team in the fall, I'm sure.
There's a little co-recruit. Every now and again, I'll pop into Coach Cindy's office and see if Rob Whaley wants to protect the passer every now and again.
There we go.
Sure.
There you go. Coach, how difficult is it to rebuild or build a culture in today's college football landscape? I mean, we joke about, athletes supporting each other, but I imagine it's got to be harder in this world of, those softball players and your football players probably didn't all get there at the same time. They probably don't necessarily grow up together. They might be there for a year, 2 years. So how do you incorporate that in 2026?
Yeah, I think great question. I think, culture's a funny thing, right? I think I can't remember who it was talking about it. It was another MAC football coach, as a matter of fact, maybe Mike Jacobs at Toledo. He was talking about culture is, what you do, what you say, and what you allow. And, if you can keep it that simple, it's pretty do the right thing, say the right thing because it's the right thing. Support is easy. Going to a volleyball game, or a basketball game or a baseball game, soccer, whatever it is, like support's easy. Getting the guys to genuinely care about others because they genuinely care about them is the ultimate goal for us. Is so many places you work at, and the narrative about college football players is that they're entitled and they're this and they're that. Well, we're not. We're just regular dudes trying to support those who support us, and I think we're doing that pretty well right now.
And you talk about the culture there, but as far as an identity at Kent State for football, what do you guys kind of want to be known as, or what do you want when teams see you guys on the schedule? What do you want them to kind of think about Kent State football?
Yeah, that we're about, that we're about our habits, right? That what we do on a day-to-day basis matters. For me, I grew up young parents. I was born, my mom and dad were 17, 18, 19 years old. They just watching them work and provide opportunities for us, their children, had a tremendous impact on me. And I realized pretty quickly that it wasn't going to be, setting goals was awesome, but success for me wasn't going to be based on what I thought about or what I talked about. It was going to be what I did. And, I try to take that habits word after reading James Clear's book and all that, and kind of make it our own thing. I went away for college, and the lessons mom and dad taught me were exemplified there, and it was always important for me when I got my chance to do this, to lead a football program, was to keep the main thing. For me, that's improvement. It's getting better on a day-to-day basis in every area of your life, not just in the weight room, not just in the classroom, not just on the football field, but truly aligning everything to succeed when football gets rid of us. Because for so many of us, this game does. It gets rid of us, not the other way around.
Coach, we were talking before the show. You were on staff at Charlotte with Coach Healy, who for several years now, and we got a chance to visit with him and visit at Charlotte. It was one of those places where, there wasn't a whole lot of on-field success, but for whatever reason, their students were always there. Middle of the week, weekend, Power 4 opponent, conference game, didn't matter. The students showed up. And when we talked to Coach Healy about it, it was, there was an emphasis on the players introducing themselves to their classmates, shaking hands with their teachers, doing all of those things. Is there anything that you've brought from those years with Coach Healy or any other coaches that you're trying to do? I mean, the softball thing is cool, and that's a help. I think, telling you, y'all are gonna be surprised now. Week 1, you can go out there and the place is gonna be jumping. I'm telling you, I got a thought. But is there anything that you're doing that you brought from Charlotte or anywhere else that's trying to build that support in the community?
Yeah, I stole it directly. Will's thing was PEEP. I mean, it's his idea. He talked about PEEP, right? Positivity, positive energy, enthusiasm, passion, energy, enthusiasm, and positivity. That was PEEP for him. And at Charlotte, it was such a young program that we needed to recruit fans, right? We're in a huge market, all this NASCAR stuff going on, and they had the Hornets, they had the Panthers. This was a 10-year-old program at the time, I think, when Will got the job, maybe even younger. And we had to do that. We had to introduce ourselves. We had to, go into classrooms and say hello to professors and constantly recruiting fans. Kent State's got a great brand. A lot of people have paid a lot of costs to make this brand what it is. And I don't think we need to recruit fans here. I think we needed to recruit back goodwill in our community after a couple down years. We had to pull the curtain back and let people in a little bit. And we do the same thing here. Our policy is if we don't know your first name and your last name when you're at practice, our job is to get reps, right? Is to come up, shake your hand. Hey, I'm Mark Carney. I'm the quarterback. I'm from Lakewood, Ohio. I appreciate you being at practice today. That's it. You don't have to know your full story. You don't have to pretend but just introduce yourself. It's going to pay dividends down the road, because now people know who you are and they're going to root for you extra hard. And then 2, it's going to help you in your career when you do go into a board meeting and have to introduce yourself and shake people's hands. It's, they're reps.
No doubt. And we saw that at Charlotte firsthand, not having really much of an expectation of what was going to happen. And we were blown away by the student section, by the fan base, like you said, of a young program. Now, obviously, you guys are in the middle of spring ball. How do you feel like it's going? Has anything kind of stuck out to you about the team or any certain players? What's your take so far?
Yeah, going into year two, it's a lot different certainly than year one, from a timing standpoint and feeling a little more settled. Last year there was a little bit of turnover with this job, and the portal window was getting ready to open like 17 days later, something like that. Feel a lot more settled. Our staff did an unbelievable job in the retention of our roster and keeping a lot of really good players here at Kent. And then being in Northeast Ohio, I grew up here. This is a rich football tradition. High school football is extremely important here. It's extremely well coached. It's extremely well supported. Creating opportunities for guys to stay home in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania and Detroit, Michigan, and Indianapolis, Indiana. I think you can build a pretty good football team. So excited to take the next step. And, 6 practices in, I believe we've done that.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I was going to go to some Twitter questions or X questions. And one of the ones was, I'm guessing this guy's a high school coach somewhere in Ohio. But he just said, I don't have a question. His Twitter is BrownsFan32. I don't know.
All right, you take him.
Maybe you know the guy. I don't have a question, more of a thank you. He says, I appreciate your willingness to recruit the state of Ohio. More importantly, Northeast Ohio. It's a hotbed for football, like you said. He feels like prior coaches maybe neglected that. And you've made it a point. And he says he believes that you'll have much success for doing this. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. I mean, there's great high school football in Ohio, and there's a ton of Division I FBS programs in Ohio also.
Yep.
So what's the message for guys when you're competing against other MAC schools or anybody in the country? Why Kent State?
Yeah, opportunity. If you look at our roster, we maximized the capabilities of all 105 guys on our team. Football is different in that we can use 4 games, or we were able to use 4 games a year ago and still maintain the red shirt. So young guys play. What we've experienced here the last few years since the advent of the portal and all that is, we're probably going to get 2 years of production. Whether that's a young guy that comes in and plays early, then earns an opportunity to go get paid some real money elsewhere, or a guy that started his career somewhere else, didn't work out there, and now came here. But to that point, we've got to have the next guy up and ready. And, when you're able to show recruits, hey, this walk-on receiver, he caught 3 passes down at Florida State, and, he was on the bus ride to almost every road game, and, played 4 games. You get a little bit of response from that. Oh, I can come here and play like right now. It creates a little spark for him, and the proof is in the pudding, right? The guy somebody leaves, ex-player leaves because he's had his 2 years of production. Well, now you're not hoping and waiting for a freshman who might be productive. Because he's played at least the 4 games, hey, this guy's ready.
How do you find the balance between that and recruiting these high school kids from Northeast Ohio? I mean, I know that's a lot of people would tell you that the people that are getting hurt the most are the high school kids with the portal. But how do you find the balance of it? Hey, we need this guy to come in and be 20 years old, ready to roll, versus getting an in-state kid that you might have to wait a year or two to be ready to go?
Yeah, I think it's a balance, right? If you do hit on a young guy who's able to play early and significantly contribute in his first 2 seasons, chances are if he's really any good, he'll probably earn the opportunity to go get paid. And then the next guy's ready. So I think we're blessed in that we get to recruit, a lot of really good high school football players from this area, and then utilize the portal to supplement that. I don't know that the portal is hurting high school recruiting. I think waivers and extensions of eligibility are really the thing probably hurting high school recruiting the most. But it hasn't here. Last year we took 22 high school guys on scholarships, and the plan is to do a similar number next year. So we'll have opportunities for high school football players.
It definitely seems like across the country, some of the, bigger programs or brands, it seems like they're taking a few less high school kids where I think, the group of five, the MAC, Conference USA, all these schools, like there's a lot of good high school talent being left out now because, the Ohio States and Michigans, they're picking from a lot of these group of five programs or guys in their own conference. Whereas like, I feel like there's an opportunity for a Kent State or a Middle Tennessee or some of these other schools to go get some hot high school talent. Like you can play right now as a freshman and be ready to go, as opposed to, well, you're going to get paid over here, but you're also not going to see the field for probably 2 or 3 years. So do you think that's an avenue that you guys can kind of target?
Yeah, I think we're seeing an edge in that regard right now here. I think having relationships with high school football coaches in this area certainly helps, right? Having been raised by a lot of these guys, quite honestly, right? You got to compete against when you were a high school guy and watch coach your brother or against your younger brother. We trust a lot of the coaches in this area. To your point, I think we're getting a higher caliber high school talent right now because the powers aren't taking as many from that level. And I think across the board at the group of five, you're seeing really talented kids, play early.
Coach, what do we got to do to get Julian Edelman back up there?
I'm going to keep tweeting at him, buddy.
I mean, are we just getting no response?
No. He knows. Jules knows exactly what's going on here. There's a guy, Casey Wolf, who was the DFO here when Jules played, and help get him back here to get his degree. At the end of his career, it'll happen. It'll happen. Right now, I'm modeling consistency for our young men.
No doubt.
There you go.
All it is right now,
there you go. You're blocking and tackling every single day. That's exactly what you're doing. Taking your proper steps. That's exactly right. Well, Jeff, you got anything else? I'll do 1 or 2 more Twitter questions, and then we'll let Coach roll.
No, just hit those Twitter questions.
All right, let me get back to them here. So you got one. This is a Pitt fan. Love a Pitt fan. But yeah, and I've looked at this too. So you guys got South Carolina, Ohio State, and South Florida in your non-conference this season. He asks, how is playing one of the toughest non-conference schedules going to help your team? And I probably already know the answer to this. And will you get Ohio State to play at Kent State in the coming year?
I'll bring that up to the administration for certain.
There we go.
I don't know if I see that one happening, but there's plenty of seats down at Ohio Stadium we'll be able to fill. I'm certain about it. No, I we look at it as a challenge, right? And like competition, that's life, man. You're not always going to go into every battle, whether you're hunting a job or the right spouse or whatever. You're not always going to be the biggest, the fastest, the strongest. And, how you deal with being the underdog, says a lot about you. They're hard games for sure. We're going to challenge ourselves. Our guys want that. Our guys relish those opportunities to prove themselves right. Hey, I knew I could have played at Ohio State, right? I just demonstrated it. When NFL teams come here, they want to watch those games, right? They want to watch our corner cover Jeremiah Smith. They want to see us try to go tackle that quarterback in South Carolina, man. Like, we're going to challenge ourselves for sure. I know, just speaking on last year, the experiences at Texas Tech, right, and Florida State and Oklahoma, those made us better, as the year went on. And I'm counting on the same thing happening a year ago. But we're not going to duck and hide. We're not going to tuck tail and run. We're here to play. We're going to coach our tails off. We're going to compete our tails off. And, if at the end of the day it's good enough, great. If it's not, we're going to learn our lessons and on to the next one.
Love it. And then last question. This is from Johnny Leonard. He just says, how would you define success for this season?
Yeah, improvement, right, is getting better. You try to stay away from being results oriented, but the truth of the matter is we're in a results oriented business. And I think as long as you're able to lay your head on a pillow at night, proud of the work you did that day, I think I can sleep better. I know that. Does that look like bowl eligibility? Does that look like contending for a MAC championship? I think, we're able to have honest conversations in our team room right now about those things where maybe a year ago we weren't. So looking forward to, the resolve of this group showing itself throughout the next couple months. And, we'll talk about realistic goals closer to the fall.
Love it. Coach, this has been awesome, man. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Appreciate you guys having me, man.
Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
No doubt.
Can we get you out to Dick Stadium this fall?
We need to.
I was just going to say, I mean, probably. Listen, anybody can talk me into just about anything. So Jeff, you got to get on board here.
No, I'm always on board, but
Well,
we got some early season warm weather home games, boys.
Well, that's going to be the key for me.
for the South Florida boy, you got that's the thing.
Where do you fly? Cleveland, or do you fly to?
We fly out of Akron.
Okay.
Akron, Canada.
Akron. Okay.
Yeah. It's about 45 minutes either way you slice it, whether you're flying out of Cleveland or Akron.
Oh,
what we got to do, Jeff, is get like a midweek MAC and do like a Tuesday, Wednesday.
That would be good. Yeah, we'll have to
you're talking about November, though. You better have some layers on.
We went to West Point 2 seasons ago for the American Championship, and I don't know that it can be a whole lot worse than that.
Really
I mean, that was something else, man.
What is it's the Hudson River, right? Where it is?
Yeah, right on the. And we did a live show pregame, like from on top of some hill at West Point, overlooking the river, and like it was windy. Oh, it was bad.
I've actually been there. My both my brother-in-law and my brother played at Air Force. Actually, if you guys want a project. My younger brother, Sean Carney, is the best quarterback in the history of Air Force football, and he is not in the Hall of Fame. So I don't know if we can ruffle some feathers out there in Colorado Springs, but let's get the guy inducted, will we?
Well,
Coach, I'll let you in on a fun fact. I went to the Air Force Academy out of high school. I went to prep school.
Did you really?
The freshman year. Now he was there. I know the name. He was there. What years was he there? Like 06?
Sean graduated high school 03, so he would have been at the prep school 04. And he started 05. 03 he would have been at the prep school. Yeah, 03 he was at the prep school. He started 04, 05, 06, 07. So 3 years for Fisher to Berry and then 1 year for
07, right? They played Cal in the bowl game, didn't they? And Cal was loaded. Like Cal was like a game away from playing in a BCS game, and they who'd they have? The big time receiver, Deshaun Jackson.
Deshaun Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Marshawn Lynch. That was like that.
Aaron was already done, but
he was done,
the running back, Justin Forsett.
Forsett was a dog.
Absolute dude. Deshaun Jackson was on that team. They had 2 linebackers that were like all Pac-12. Sean actually had them up. They were winning
at halftime
at the end of the third quarter, and he shattered his knee. I pushed him around. He did everything. He did ACL, MCL, PCL, patella ligament, everything. I pushed him around Fort Worth the rest of that night.
And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, because I was getting recruited and like I was pretty sure I was going there, so I was watching, and I'm pretty sure Deshaun Jackson like housed the kickoff to open the third quarter or something, and I was like, oh God, this guy's good.
They had no answer for Justin Forsett. He was running all over him. He was out of the backfield catching passes. It was like, holy cow.
Yeah, we got to get
fun career.
We got to get Julian Edelman back on campus, and we got to get Sean Carney in the Hall of Fame.
Well, you need to call your Captain Jason Arcons and tell him to start.
Some phone calls. I got some people on the staff. I got some guys I played with on the staff up there, so
there we go.
Let's make some calls. I'll make some calls.
Done, boys.
Coach, I love it, man. Thank you so much, sir.
Appreciate your time. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes, sir. Jeff, we say it every time, but I said it even before the show. I got a feeling. Look, I don't know that Kent State's going to go win 9 or 10 games. I don't know that they'll be bowl eligible. But I'm telling you, that culture shift of their players going to that softball game and them shaking people's hands, that's going to get them some damn support.
Absolutely.
And you know it and I know it. You get some fans out there, you get some love from the community. I'm telling you, man, something brewing up there in Kent.
It goes a long way, especially when you're talking about building, he kind of talked about it, kind of mending, some relationships and kind of rebuilding that culture, that brand and really just your relationship in the community, it goes a long way. And you get some of the other athletes at your games, they're bringing some of their, family or friends to the games. Now you got something cooking. If you can get the students really bought in, showing up to the games, especially those midweek games. The problem is once again, whoever's doing the scheduling for Kent State did them no favors. Because I'm with you. I'm with Coach, and I believe it. Like, you're going to play who you got on your schedule, and I was fired up as a player to go play at Tennessee and Mississippi State and the teams that we got the opportunity to play. But man, there is something also like being able to have a bit of a manageable non-conference where you're not get super beat up in the first couple weeks and you roll into conference 3-1 or 2-2, as opposed to 1 win or, like we've done once before in our playing years, like 0 wins. So we'll see what happens, but I'm bought in. I'm sold. I think you're going to see a big jump this year in fan support and just on the field production.
Yeah. Well, they'll be playing for a place that they care about, and that's my concern across college football right now is like these one and done kids and all those things. Is like, they're going to go to all these places and never really care. I mean, Jeff, think about your time at middle, right? Or my time at middle. It's like you show up and, I was different because I didn't come in as a freshman and you're a JUCO kid. So maybe we're even a little bit different, but these kids that come out of high school as a freshman, right? And they get put in the athletic dorms, right? You get put in Scarlet Commons at middle. And then so do the freshman basketball players. And so do the freshman soccer players and the softball players. And all the athletes kind of live together. And if they're there for 3 or 4 years together, I mean, you're really growing up together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's something to be said about that. And we've been talking about it for years. It's like, you want to support your friend. It's not even about, I want to support the university that I go to and where I play a sport, but also like, hey man, like this guy's dorm's across the hall from mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, now, and I want to support these guys and they come to our games. It almost reminds you, man, like it almost reminds you, I don't want to use this term as like to downplay it, but like high school's like that a little bit. You know what I mean? Where like you truly know everybody. And Jeff, there's 25,000 students, according to Google, enrolled at the main Kent State campus. So, I mean, you're telling me you can't get 20% of them to come to a game?
I mean, you got to.
You know what I mean? And get 5,000 students there?
Makes a huge difference. And, you talked about it with us going to Charlotte and what that student section was like and what that did for, the in-game atmosphere. And quite frankly, as a visiting team going to an atmosphere like that, it makes a difference. It really does. You'll get a false start penalty or something. Offensive linemen start chirping back with the fans. They're not as focused. Like it's just, it's real. And I'd love to see that at Kent State. And damn it, they deserve to have a winning season.
They do, man. I mean, they've been going through it, the last couple of years as a program, and they've had some kind of odd thing. It's not been a normal, unsuccessful program and a new coach. It was definitely a weird situation there for coach to take over. But, again, you see a guy that he loves the area. He's recruiting locally. He obviously loves the program. He loves the kids. And he's got them bought in, at least on the surface level, to love where they're at and love being there. And man, when you're playing for something, I get it. People are making money. They're playing. There's a lot of selfishness going on. But when you're playing for a university or for your teammates or your friends or playing for anything bigger than yourself, it just puts another edge to it. And yeah, dude, you get that student section going. Next thing you know, they're throwing water bottles into the crowd. And you got another distraction as an opponent playing in a place like that. I'm not advocating to squirt water bottles at opposing teams, but damn it, it works.
No doubt.
But man, we appreciate Coach for coming on, especially on such a quick notice. I love it. I'm bought it. We got to get up to MAC country. We've done Toledo, we've done Miami. we got to get up there and see, Kent, Akron, Central Michigan, those guys. Make it work. Somebody slide in the DMs with a travel plan that's low cost and high efficiency.
Or just paid for.
Well, that's good too. Or, if there was like a company out there that was willing to foot the bill for something like this. Man, we'll make it happen. We get the season upcoming. Jeff and I will get all fired up again. We'll be buying flights that our wives are unhappy about, but it's too late. Can't return them. But appreciate Coach coming on. Appreciate Kent State for the support. And we will see you guys on the live